So, Unit 5A not only just reviews how to graph a line, but it teaches you the basics of slope-intercept form. So as long as you have a slope and a y-intercept, you can write any equation that you want. As long as you have those two things, you can write whatever equation you want. However, you're not always going to be given the y-intercept. You're not going to always be given the slope. So we can still write the equation, write the function, but we need another way to do it. So this unit, we learn how to model situations where you are not always given the y-intercept. So a little bit of a preview of what's going to be happening. In this unit, you're going to be looking at your career. Whatever job you think that you want to have when you enter adulthood. Whether it's, I want to be a daycare teacher, a software engineer, a pediatrician. Some of you here might want to be a NFL football player, NBA basketball player, whatever career you're thinking of wanting to do. Start thinking about that. On Friday, I will send out a Google Doc for you to pick a career that you want to do some research on. It doesn't have to be the end-all, be-all of what you're going to do, but you need to pick something. That way you can do a little research on it. That part will be used as part of your test for this unit. So start thinking about that. Don't just pick doctor. If you want to be a doctor, say what kind of doctor. Don't just say engineer. Pick what kind of engineer. So you got to be specific. But we'll get into more of that later. So today, we're going to use slope-intercept form to write an equation of a line in which we're not given all of the information that we're used to. On Friday, we're going to use the other formula for writing the equation of a line. That's called point-slope form. So, all of you saw this on part 1 of the unit test. It was in the extra credit section, so if you got it wrong, don't worry about it. It didn't hurt. So let's go ahead and get started. Felix, just saw you come in. If I need to scroll back down so that you can see something, just let me know, and I'll make sure to do that so you can get caught up. So, first case. So there are 3 cases that we're going to look at. The first case is the one that we did in the last unit. Just to review how to do it. So case number 1 is if you're given the slope and the y-intercept. So you are told what m is equal to, and you are told what b is equal to. So this is the easy case. You plug in the slope for m and the y-intercept for b, and then that's it. You plug it in, and then that's it. So let's do our first 2 examples. Remember, when I check your notes, all of your examples should be present. Every example we do in class should be in your notes. Every example we do should be in your notes. So example 1. Line has a slope of -4 and a y-intercept of 5. Slope of -4 and a y-intercept of 5. So Anybody got the equation? Go ahead, Janai. Negative 4 over 1x plus 5. Cool. I like it. Now, since we're not graphing it, you don't have to write the slope as a fraction. So if you gave it as y equals negative 4x plus 5, that's okay. But either one is fine. Either one is will work. The slope is negative 4, so that's your m. The y-intercept is 5, so that's your u. Any questions? Example 1. All right, then let's do example 2. So example 2. The function passes through 0, negative 4, and 5, comma, negative 2. So 0, negative 4, and 5, comma, negative 2. So we're still using y equals mx plus b. So we need the slope, we need the y-intercept. Which one of those two do we already know? So we already know the y-intercept. That point tells you the y-intercept. Remember, if you have 0, comma, a number, that's the y-intercept. So that means your y-intercept is negative 4. So far we have y equals something times x minus 4. How are we going to get the slope? Subtract the 2 points. So that means we're going to be using y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we got a slope formula. We're not afraid to use it. So label your points. So negative 2 minus negative 4 divided by 5 minus 0. What's our slope? Two over 5. Excellent. Negative 2 minus negative 4 is 2. 5 minus 0, 5. 2 over 5 can't be reduced. Hopefully I have an answer. Go ahead. You always reduce. So you always 100% reduce. So if you were graphing this, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you're graphing it, this is 0, negative 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, negative 2. Oops. My mind sucks. So if you're graphing it, then it's rise over run. So you would have went up 2. And to the right 5. So that's still 2 over 5. But Janai, you're absolutely right. If you can reduce it, you reduce it. If it can be reduced, you reduce. Any questions with case number 1? Any questions out there? Case number 1. All right, let me get 30 seconds for those people who need to finish copying before we move on to case number 2. Just a reminder, those people who are turning in the Unit 5A review assignment, the bonus assignment, that'll be today only. You turn in tomorrow, I will send you a message back saying that it's not valid. So, the bonus assignment, which means it's extra credit. So, if you're told that it's not valid, there's no reason to complain. You turned it in late. It'd be like that sometimes. All right, so let's go ahead. Look at case number 2. Quickly highlight the things that you should have. Case number 2. So for case number 2, you're given the slope and a single point on the line. So that means you're going to be given the slope and you're going to be given a point. So you'll get a slope and a point. And we're still using the same formula, y equals mx plus b. So let's look at how we would solve it out. Now, this point is not the y-intercept. It will be something else. It will be something else. So let's look at example 3. The line has a slope of -2 and passes through the point -5, 3. So your slope is -2 and your point is -5, 3. So, here's what that means. The slope is still the m value. -5 would be x, and 3 would be y. So think about the formula. Y equals mx plus b. Which letter doesn't have a number for it? B. So B is missing. You need to find it. So this is how we find it. Take the 3 numbers that we know and plug them in. So y is 3. M is -2, X is -5, and B you don't know. So the first step is to plug everything in. Any questions so far? If you don't understand something, you have to ask. I can't read your mind, otherwise I would have won a Mega Millions last night. All right, so now we're going to solve for B. The first thing we have to do is take those two numbers and multiply them. So what's negative 2 times negative 5? 10, positive 10. So 3 equals 10 plus b. But now I got to get b by itself. So what happens to that 10? So we don't subtract by 3, we subtract by 10. If you subtract 3, you get a positive 7. If you subtract 10, like we're supposed to, you get a negative 7. Any questions before we finish the problem? We're not done yet. I'm just going very slow, but we're not done yet. All right, so step 3. Write your answer for the function using only the numbers for m and b. X and y will stay variables. So when you write your answer, the only two numbers that go back are, let me highlight this part, the m and the b. Those are the only two numbers that go back in the formula. So that means your answer is y equals negative 2x minus 7. Say that again. Right? So if it's asking you to write the equation, you must know the slope and you must know the y-intercept. So you can't write the equation without those two parts. So if they're missing, so one of those is missing, you have to get it before you can write the equation. So any other questions before we do example 4? All right, so let's do example 4. Blow this up just a little bit so I can have a little bit more space. So example 4. We have a slope of 3/5 and it passes through the point 20, 9. So we're still using y equals mx plus b. Our slope is 3/5, and our point is 20, 9. PT is the same thing as point. So, what are the three numbers that I know? So I know the slope, I know the x, I know the y. So I know those three numbers, so that means I don't know b. So let's go ahead and get to work. Here's our formula. Let's plug our numbers in. So we've got 9, 3/5, 20, and B. Let's solve it. What do we do first? All right, what am I multiplying? I'm multiplying 3/5 to 20. So what does that give us? What was that, Amari? Or 2 12s. So is there anyone that doesn't understand why that's 12? Speak now or keep your peace. You don't know, you better say something. You're going to see a whole bunch of fractions in this unit. There you go. I better hear people speak up. You are going to get fractions throughout this entire unit. I don't want to hear anything about, I can't do it because it's a fraction. I don't care. Fractions are here, deal with it. Decimals are going to be here too. Deal with it. So if you don't know how to do it, we speak up about it. So 3/5 times 20 is the same thing as 3/5 times 20. So before you multiply, I need to make the 20 a fraction. How do I make 20 a fraction? Put it over 1. Now we multiply across. 3 times 20 is 60. 5 times 1 is 5. 60 divided by 5 is 12. That's where that 12 came from. So if you got to write your work off to the side and do it, then it is what it is. But we're not going to cry about decimals. We're not going to cry about fractions and decimals. They here learn how to work with them. But we're not done though. What do we still need to do? We subtract 12. So what's B equal to? -3. Are we finished? Your job finished? I heard a no. I think Willie said no. I agree with him too. All right, what's that equation? That man on business. I like that how that man thinks. So remember, when you write your answer, your slope and your y-intercept goes back into the answer. Any questions, examples 3 or 4? All right. So again, let me give a few moments for those people who need to finish up the copying. we have this brief moment, let me remind you, those of you that did not like the score that they got on part 1, the retake for it is this Friday during the asynchronous time. That is the only time you can retake it. If you don't retake it then it is assumed that you are keeping the score that you had. Yes. So for registration for your new classes, all of your teachers, well, your English, math, social studies, and science have recommended which class you go into for those, basically what level you go into. So for me, I had to determine whether you stay in CP, whether you go to double block, whether you go to AC, or if I feel that you can handle the honors level for you to make that jump. After that, you'll pick whatever electives that you want to take. So for some of you, it would be one elective because you still have to take gym, or 2 electives if you're going to take the first period. So you should get a link that basically allows you to pick your classes. And then your counselor will look at it, make sure that everything is straight, everything works out, and then boom, you're registered for sophomore year. Yep, this is normally when you start registering for next school year. Yep. You should be doing it with your parents. I mean, your parents gonna get a copy of it anyway. So whatever it is, they gotta sign off on it. Now I do know that they're gonna have two sessions to help you navigate the registration process. I know one session is tonight and one session is Saturday morning. So they'll have a live video conference for students or parents to ask questions. Good question. Anyone else with questions before we do part 3? All right, so part 3. So part 3 is not harder, it is a little longer because there are more steps. So case number 3, you're given 2 points on the line. So this time you're just going to be given 2 points. So they're not going to give you a slope. They're not going to give you the y-intercept. That means you got to find both of them. So you got to find both of them. So there's 2 formulas that you're going to be using for a problem like this. You're going to be using the slope formula. And you're going to be using y equals mx plus b. So again, it's not a harder problem, but it is a little bit more work. So let's do example 5. So example 5, we got -3, 8 and 2, 18. -3, 8, 2, 18. So first step, find the slope. First step is to find the slope. again, if you get stuck with the process, you got to speak up and ask. So definitely make sure you do that. Anaya, Io, Evan, Naomi, Sanaya, Kavade, Sam, if you get stuck, you got to ask because I can't read your mind. First step, find slope. So we plug the numbers in. That's 18 minus 8. And negative 2, not 2, excuse me, 2 minus negative 3. All right, you got 10 over 5, and what's 10 divided by 5? 2. There you go. There's our slope. Step 1 is finished. Step 2, pick one of the 2 points. Now, let me stress this. You get to pick which one you use, and it does not matter which one you use. So to prove to you that it doesn't matter, I'm going to solve it using both. You get to pick which point you use. You say what? No, you only use one. I mean, if you want to use both of them to make sure that you get the answer correct, that's fine, but you only have to do one. Now, I'm going to show you using both of them so that you can see that it does work. But you yourself don't have to do it that way. So you get to pick which point you use, either negative 3 comma 8 or 2 comma 18. All you have to do is pick one. So I'm going to use negative 3 comma 8. We know the slope. I'm going to use negative 3 comma 8. So that means that m is equal to 2, x is equal to negative 3, and y is equal to 8. We solve it the same way that we just finished doing it. So we just finished doing the problem like that. Y is equal to 8, m is 2, x is negative 3, and b we don't know. The first point. Remember, you have to pick a point. So if you're going to use negative 3, you have to use the 8. If you're going to use 2, you have to use the 18. That's correct. So if it's either you use the first point or you use the second point. There is no mixing and matching. No. So when I do this problem again with 2 comma 18, you don't have to write that unless you just want to see both of them. So if you finish the problem off, and I like that they're asking questions. If you're frustrated and you don't understand what's going on, if you don't say anything, then you can't complain because you chose not to say nothing. You gotta put your big boy, big girl pants on when you're in this class. So 2 times negative 3, negative 6. How do you get rid of that minus 6? add 6. So 14 equals B, which means your answer would have been y equals 2x plus 14. So that would have been your answer. So now, like I said, I'm going to solve it again to prove to you that it works. So you don't have to write this down if you don't want to. But we're going to do it using the other one to prove to you that it works. So this means that m equals 2, x is 2, y is equal to 18. So y is 18, m is 2, x is 2, plus b. 2 times 2 is 4. You subtract 4 on both sides. B equals 14. So you get the exact same answer. So it doesn't matter which one you pick, but you're gonna have to pick one. It doesn't matter which one you pick, but you're gonna have to pick one. Any questions on example 5? Wait about 30 seconds here for those people who are still copying. Because in a second, I'm going to have you start example 6 yourself. And it's not a hard problem, but you got to pay attention to what you're doing. It's also a problem that's going to expose whether or not you truly know what you're doing. So if you don't truly know what you're doing and you've been false flagging all this time, you're about to get found out. So another few seconds and then we'll start off with example 6. That's why it's called extra credit. Extra credit means you're going above and beyond to earn more points. Hence why it's called extra credit. So now when you take your quiz on this weekend, it's no longer extra credit. It's regular credit. So start with the slope. X1, Y1, X2, Y2. So your slope is, write the formula just in case someone needs it. 9 minus 3 over 3 minus negative 6. That's 6 over 9. Divide by 3, that's 2/3. So your slope should be positive 2/3. So let's see, mostly positive 2/3. Let's see, except for Willie, did you see your mistake with that slope? As long as you know where you went wrong, that you good. So our slope should be positive 2/3. Now let's pick a point. That's what you should get. Should be positive 2/3. Oh. So check out the chat. 15 plus 54. That looks off. Yeah, that looks off. Take a picture of what you did, email it to me. I want to see it. That way I can tell you what you did wrong. Do that right now. I want to see it. So, let's pick a point. Tyra, which point did you use? Okay, cool. Let's use 3, 9. So y equals mx plus b. So that means 9 equals 2/3 times 3 plus b. So m is 2/3, x is equal to 3, y equals 9. 2/3 times 3, so that's 2/3 times 3/1. 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 1 is 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. Subtract 2 on both sides. 9 minus 2 is 7. So we got our slope, we got our y-intercept, so your answer is y equals 2/3 x plus 7. All right, cool, Snide. Thanks for letting me know that. Let's see here. Any questions? Example 6. I'm okay if you got it wrong, but I need you to know why it's wrong so that you can fix the mistake. And if you need help seeing where it's wrong, let me know and I'll try to help you out. That's why hopefully, Janiyah, you took a picture of that so I can see it and I can tell you exactly where you went wrong. So, any questions, examples 5 or 6 before we finish up the class? Not seeing any in the chat, not hearing any, so stop